Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Other 6 Days podcast, where we chat about life outside of Sundays and what it means to live from our gatherings and not just for them. I'm your host, CJ McFadden, and today we're joined by my friend Andrew Statezny, advancement pastor at Wellspring Church. Andrew is probably one of the best individuals I've met at simultaneously partnering both faith and fun to engage hearts in healthy gospel conversation. And today we get the opportunity to do just that as we discuss how a heart for the local church and stewardship intersect to play a major role in the advancement of God's kingdom. Andrew, welcome to the podcast.
Hey, thanks, CJ.
Hey, so glad to have you. Well, hey, we always kick off the podcast getting to know our guests, obviously, and I know you love people and conversations, which this can be a recipe for all kinds of experiences. So whether awesome, awkward, powerful, or painful, what first comes to mind when you think of some of these impactful encounters you've had?
Oh, wow. That's a loaded question. There's so many different conversations I have throughout the week. I'm always just looking for an opportunity to get to know somebody, like what they really are at their core.
Yeah.
And so I start conversations a little differently. I think sometimes as guys, we want to start a conversation, and the first question we'll say is like, so what do you do for a living?
Yeah.
You know, and what I think is happening, like subconsciously, is we're kind of measuring ourselves up. Like, am I more important than this person is? Are they more important than I am? Or do they make more money than I do?
Yeah.
Or, you know, those kinds of things.
Where do I fit in this conversation? Yeah.
And a couple years back, I challenged myself. I'm like, I think that's super lazy of me.
Yeah.
To just do that. And I'm really not looking at somebody. I'm almost kind of comparing myself instead of looking at somebody. And so I started actually asking the question, so in the next season, what do you have that you're real excited about? Like, are you working on a project? You know, you got something going on with the family.
Yeah.
Like, what do you have that you're just looking forward to, that you wake up thinking about?
Man.
And if somebody doesn't want to talk, they'll just be like, I don't know, nothing.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. But if somebody does, instantly they light up and begin to share with you about it. And so it's, to me, I want to bring value to every conversation I have.
Yeah.
And so the best way I can do that is to try to help people connect what they're thinking on the inside of them with what God's thinking.
Oh, man.
So kind of align those two together.
Yeah. So wherever the conversation goes, you're kind of up for it.
Yeah.
I just know you. I always see you. You're a great conversationalist and conversation starter. I love the way you approach that, though, because I've thought similarly. I can't even say that.
You thought just like that.
Just like that. But I've said before, I always ask guys, like when we're out golfing, what do you do for a living? You know, and I was like, man, that just seems so like short-sighted or shallow, or comparisons there. So I say, I came up with, well, what do you like? What are you doing currently with your time? Like, what do you do with your time? Because it reaches like retired guys too.
Right.
And so they're like, oh, hey, like, thank you for not asking what I do, because currently in the season, I spend my time, and it opens up a lot more conversation.
It does. It totally does. The other part is, you know, for you and I, we're pastors at heart. Like, we're church guys. We love Jesus. And so sometimes it's a little awkward to just come out and go, hey, well, I'm a pastor, you know, kind of thing. And I'd rather have somebody know me for who I am than my title that's in front of my name, which I think we all should be shepherding people anyway. Yeah. But I had a fun conversation. I get invited to this golf game every week. I've got an open invitation to it. And the guy whose club it's at and who has me come always is bringing people to the game that he wants me to meet. Yeah. So if there's a difficult person, he invites him to the game because he's going to put him in my cart. And so we're up at the first tee, and it's two foursomes. You know, we're watching the one foursome get ready. I'm in the first foursome. We're all teeing off. Yeah. And the new guy's there, and he's a bit of a reprobate cuss, to say the least. And so my friend introduces me and said, Ray, I want you to meet Andrew. Meet Ray. I said, oh, Ray, great to meet you. Yeah. And he goes, oh, great to meet you. And he starts telling, like, because there's a whole audience of people on the first tee. He starts telling this dirty joke. Yeah. And oh, man, everybody else knows I'm a pastor. Yeah. He doesn't. And so everybody's laughing. You know, they're laughing because it's so awkward. Yeah. So he just doubles down. He thinks everybody's laughing because he's so funny.
Yeah, so he keeps it going. Yeah.
And so I walk up, and everyone's just laughing. I tee off, and I come back, and I'm standing right next to him. And my buddy leans over. He goes, oh, by the way, Andrew's my pastor. And this guy looks at it, and he goes, oh, Father, Father, forgive me. I'm so sorry, Father. And I just looked at him. I said, Ray, I'll tell you what. I have a feeling there's going to be a few more curse words that I hear before we're done. Yeah. So why don't you say the apology to the 18th, right? And so he's like, you can see this look of relief come over his face. By the by the third tee box,
Yeah.
this guy was telling me his life story and about how he had been abandoned by his mom, and his mom was a prostitute, and his father's new wife didn't want him, and so he was given up to the system.
Wow.
And how a priest really took him under his wing, and without that guy in his life would go wayward, but he wasn't following Christ right now. And it just led to this whole conversation for the next, 15 holes of what that looked like and what faith could look like for him. So it was a lot of fun. But those conversations are always unique.
Yeah,
anytime you get them. Yeah.
And that was perfect, dude. That's exactly what I was thinking when I think of you. Like, I think of those kind of conversations.
Oh yeah. Kanji and I, we probably golf with each other the most on staff here.
Yeah.
But we're all, we have the most fun of anybody. We might not have the lowest scores.
Yeah.
But we just have a blast because we love being with people.
Yep.
And so, anyway, it's a lot of awkward, fun conversations and powerful ones too.
That's good. Oh, I love that. I'm just I'm the one that brings the awkward. I didn't find that out at first. I thought I'm always end up in awkward conversations. And then the common denominator was always me. So I always found that out. I was like, whoops, okay. I think I'm the guy. Awkward. I'm the guy. So I've just embraced that.
It's like they say in small groups, there's always that one person in your small group, that everyone kind of gets on pins and needles when they start talking.
Yeah.
And the person goes, we don't have anybody like that in our group. And it's you.
It's you. You're the guy.
You're the guy. Yeah.
Well, why don't you share a little bit about your role here at Wellspring Church, kind of your background, family, hobbies, passions? Like, who's Andrew Statezny?
Yeah, well, I came here from Monterey, California. I was friends with Ricky for quite a while, and he started talking about this project, this encounter project that we're just stepping into right now. We can talk more about that later, but it was really because of him. And I thought, okay, this is a project that I would love to be involved with. And my background comes in partnerships and connections and mergers and acquisitions for churches, adopting another church, kind of repurposing kingdom dollars and those kinds of things. And probably, several years ago now, somebody said, hey, could you come speak at this conference? You do great at talking with business leaders about generosity. And I got flattered for a second and said, yes. Oh, sure, I'll come and do it. And the next morning I woke up and I was almost in cold sweat going,
what did I do?
Wait, I don't know why I'm good at it. They just said I was good at it. I might not even be good at it. And so I went and I got this idea, and I went and interviewed my 4 wealthiest friends. And I just said, how do you want a pastor to talk to you about generosity?
Wow.
What don't you want him to say?
Yeah.
What do you need from a pastor? These guys all have great affluence, and they also have a lot of influence in their lives.
Yeah.
And so they began to just lay it out. And I watched these 4 interviews back. I had them all on video.
Yeah.
And I watched them back, and they said 4 things in common, and that became my talk.
Wow. And
when I went to go do that conference, I walked into the green room, and there's Ricky Jenkins, right? And so Ricky's like, what are you doing here? And so I tell him, and he goes, well, what are the 4 things?
Yeah.
He's just super excited. And so that just started a whole other conversation. And several months later, he called and said, would you and Amy come down and talk with us here? I've got something I want to show you.
Yeah.
And wouldn't tell me what it was.
Yeah.
I mean, knucklehead. He wouldn't tell me what it was. So then he got my curiosity up. I'm like, well, shoot, I'm going to have to go to the desert to figure out what it was.
It's got to be good, yeah.
And then it actually was. It was really good. It was the Encounter Project.
That's awesome. We'll talk a little bit about that. But actually, you just said it. You've always used this powerful phrase that's really stuck with me, and it's that we're called to steward influence, not just accumulate affluence.
Yeah.
And so let's unpack a little bit by what you mean by that. Like, what happens to the church when we build on influence? Like, what does that mean?
Yeah, well, I don't like when somebody does this to me, tells me what I should be doing with my money. Yeah. Right. And especially my generosity. Like, I feel like God's going to speak to me, and Amy and I have some things that we love to give to. Obviously, we believe in giving to the church. We believe that in the tithe, it's the first thing that we do. But then we have some things that we're just passionate about, some different ministries that we're passionate about, some individuals that we're passionate about, we want to help. And I found that every person I talked to that had affluence or resources, probably a business guy.
Yeah.
Probably been successful at life. They'd been winning. And all of them have employees or friends that look up to them and they want to help. They want to shepherd them.
Yeah.
So if you've got 300 employees, right, and you're a godly person, you care for those employees like they're your family.
Yeah.
And their families are extension of your family.
Yeah.
And so I just found myself going, how can I show up well, not just pray for this person, but there's people in their lives that don't go to church that need a pastor.
Yeah.
And so the influence that they have, I try to be a pastor to their influence that they have where they can use me. Somebody's going through a divorce. Somebody got a DUI. They need somebody to talk to. Somebody, their mother died and they don't know who's going to do the funeral. And just somebody's, their family member went off the rails and needs somebody to sit down and talk with them and pray with them. I find that that's one of the best things I can do is just show up and love on people and pastor them.
Yeah.
And the generosity part, I just believe this: when you align your heart with God's heart, you become generous.
Yeah.
You just do. I think in the end, too often pastors are looked at because we've had a black eye over the last couple decades of guys that aren't responsible and don't steward well people's gifts that they give to the kingdom. You think of the television evangelist that's always asking for money and things like that, and it's such a turnoff to me.
Yeah.
I think when you are good for people, they're turning around and looking, how do I bless the kingdom out of it, and the kingdom and being the benefit of it.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed that with your conversations, like you show genuine interest in people. And so when you had told me that, like I had almost seen when we started having those conversations and you had mentioned influence over affluence, like there wasn't even talk of the affluence piece. There was just a genuine interest in someone's life. You spark those kind of conversations and you show value and you kind of build, you're like, hey man, you're really good at this. And you kind of build equity into people and you talk to them about that. And then you help them to see that and their other relationships as well.
Yeah.
And you're really good at identifying that. And I was just like, man, that's huge. And you're like, that was more of the focus. Like it's genuine authenticity in those relationships and stuff. So genuine interest. So
sure. Yeah.
Really cool.
It is weird because I haven't always been comfortable in those situations. So it's something I've really tried to be better at throughout the years. And for whatever reason, I think what ends up happening, the kingdom of God gets established in our relationships, right? And Jesus came so that we could have a relationship with God, right? And to restore that relationship. And so I just look at it and go, okay, well, relationships are the key. Because Jesus is the relationship that now puts us between, God and man. And so that's that bridge, that connection. So relationships must be a big deal in the kingdom.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Well, that's really hard though too. I mean, 100%, but I think obviously affluence can get in the way sometimes of people engaging in that relationship because all you see is their affluence. And you just have a tendency to be able to look beyond that because you're looking for something different there.
Sure.
There's something deeper, right?
Yeah.
That's great. Well, so we recently changed the name of Southwest Church to Wellspring Church. Yeah. And we currently rolled out the Encounter Project. And you help play a significant role in much of both of those. So let's glean some of your insights and talk a little bit about the why and why now and behind all those things. So.
The name change or the Encounter Project or all the above?
Go name change first and then let's talk Encounter Project.
Okay, name change.
Yeah.
It was funny because there were probably a couple people that were a little frustrated.
Frustrated's good. I like that. Yeah.
By the name change.
Yeah.
That just because the name Southwest has had 25 years of history and story, and it's been ups and downs. There's been goods and bads.
Yeah.
There's been great seasons and seasons where you're kind of like, I go to Southwest Church, get real kind of
say it real fast. Yeah.
But the bottom line for it is that we're not changing the church. It's just the name.
Yeah.
And the name identifies kind of the season we're moving into. And I always think it's kind of funny, but one couple, very sweet couple, they were not pleased, and they were bending my ear about it.
They let you know, yeah.
Yeah. In Jesus' name, right? And so I just listened, and heard everything, and it really came down to we kind of feel like our history is being erased.
Oh, wow.
And I went, oh, well, that's not good, right? No one likes that feeling, right? And so I kind of just said, well, can can I help you guys just a little bit? Can you tell me why we got named Southwest Church?
Yeah.
And they're like, well, I don't know, right? And the story goes that a pastor and his executive pastor at the time, the church was a different name before that. It was like Evangelical Free Church of the Palm Desert Valley
area,
Quad Tri 7 cities, whatever it was, right? This long name. And so they're like, we got to simplify this name. And so kind of at the same time they moved out to this property here on Fred Waring in Washington, they were going up over the hill to Temecula. And the back way up over the mountains, there's a fire station at the top. And they're having this conversation about we should rename the church, because it's just make it simpler for everybody to understand. And they went by this fire station that says Southwest Regional Fire Station. And the guy goes, well, we should just name it Southwest. And they went, yeah, that's great. And that's how the Southwest got its name.
Like,
so I know. So with Wellspring, I think it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Because it means so much. There's so much meaning and richness in it.
Yeah.
And it's a longer story than a podcast would take because it's been on Ricky's heart, the elders' hearts for many years now. But it really comes down to the woman at the well encountered Jesus, and it changed everything. Yeah. And so you're like, what do we want this church to be? We want it to be that place where people encounter Jesus, like the well was.
Yep.
So you get the well. We're in Indian Wells.
Yeah.
Right? And then you have Palm Springs, right? And so you go, you know what, Wellsprings, Wellspring Church. And I love it. I love it, and it kind of all puts it together, and it's, we are at the ground floor, the very beginning of what God's going to do in this valley. We think, oh no, we've got all this history. Yes, we do. But this is a marked point in time where we'll look back and go, do you remember at the very beginning? And people are going to think they were here 50 years ago, right? When the church started. They're going to think this is the embarkation point. Yeah. God's doing something so significant with that, and I see it over and over again. And Wellspring, it's a great name.
It does. It just fits. Like, it's so funny. Like, it definitely just grows on you over time as we've talked about it. And, like you said, with the history, like, there is a little bit of like, oh man, what's happening there? But I mean, some of the stuff too that like, obviously Indian Wells and Wellspring, John chapter 4, the woman at the well, living water, all of the things. I think too, like Ricky had made one of them, all these motifs keep popping up that just fit. And you're like, it's deep, build wells, don't put up walls. Like, I'm just hearing all this stuff and I'm like, oh, it's so good. But Ricky said that we sit here in the desert on an aquifer. Yeah. And so that literally right underneath us
it's a massive
aquifer. So it's like tapping into, like he had said it so well. And I'm like, oh man, what a fitting name for where we're at, and so many levels, but biblical. So,
yeah, very biblical.
So cool.
Yeah, I love it.
Oh man, I love that. Well, so right on the heels of the name change was that little thing called the Encounter Project that we're right in the middle of. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so the current property sits on 43 acres. Yeah. And the building that we're in is really at the center of that property. And if you've gone here for a while, what tends to happen is that things just get very familiar because you see it every week in, week out. You're here a couple times during the week for different things. It's kind of like, it's your house. There's a project I want to work on, I haven't worked on, right? And I just forget it's there. It's just totally, I'm there. And somebody comes in for the first time and goes, why is that way? I just haven't got around to fixing it yet. Yeah. I'm going to work on that project,
I got a couple of those,
or I always like this one where, your computer screen, I always want to show somebody when I get to, oh, hey, check this out in my computer screen. And I realize, man, I must spit when I talk or something because my screen is super dirty. I never notice that it's dirty until I show it to somebody else.
Dude, and the podcast, I'm always like, don't see my screen because it looks horrible.
Well, this is the same way at this property. Yeah. You pull in and you see a massive field to the west of us. Yeah. It's all grass and it's beautiful, but it's just an empty field. Yeah. And if there's not cars parked on it, it doesn't get used. Then if you go towards Fred Waring in Washington, towards the actual street corner, there's a huge field out there as well. It's all grass. It's beautiful. It's cut nice all the time. But if you're used to it, you just go, oh, that's our field. But I look at it and I'm like, I think it's a misuse of kingdom resources to not develop that to its fullest potential. Yeah. There's a term in real estate called highest and best use. And we've got some vacant land here on this property that is not at its highest and best use for the kingdom.
That's true.
And so the Encounter Project is about making this property the highest and best use for the kingdom that we can possibly make it. So we're growing like crazy. We're up like 30+% year over year. If you don't come on Saturday night, it's really hard to find a seat on Sundays. Even out church on the lawn, it's packed out there. Online is it like doubled or something in the last, how many months since it's doubled?
It's probably, I'd say the last like 6 months, it's slowly moved towards doubling. Yeah.
That's crazy. So there's this momentum that's happening, and it's the right time to do this. But we're going to add a 2,500 seat auditorium, a sanctuary, a new sanctuary. The sanctuary we're in was meant to be a banquet hall.
Yeah. Like wedding receptions and stuff.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then we're going to add 750 seat dedicated chapel so that the Spanish church, Spanish speaking church, will actually have a permanent home there. And then during the week, I don't know, many people don't really probably realize this, but we do free memorials for people, especially if they don't go to the church, they call here because they've heard that we'll do a free memorial for them.
Yeah.
So it's a big ministry of the church.
Yeah.
Weddings, that kind of thing could be done there. Receptions. There's a lot of great nonprofits and other ministries that are based in the valley here that'll be able to use that space as well.
Man.
And then the current property, the current building that we're in is getting retrofitted out. And it will be the best for kids, the best for middle school, the best for high school students. Anywhere I've ever seen at any church, it's going to be optimized. It's going to be absolutely the most incredible place to do ministry. It's not going to be opulent, but it's going to be done with excellence.
Yeah.
And then we're going to connect those 3 buildings with a massive. It's a lobby, but we're calling it the concourse.
Yeah,
that sounds
cool. It sounds so cool.
It sounds so, but it is just massive.
Yeah.
And the reason why, it's not because we want to be bigger and better and say we've got the biggest church lobby in America or anything like that. It's because 5 months out of the year, it's so stinking hot in this valley that moms with small kids just disappear into their homes for the whole day because it's so
hibernate.
hot. Hibernate. Yeah, run out to the pool, jump in, come back inside. And so there's going to be a cafe in there.
Yeah.
There's going to be a huge indoor playground in there that moms can come and throughout the week just come and enjoy a cup of coffee with their friend and have their kids playing in a safe environment. And then the back property between the building and Ford Elementary School is going to be fields of play, of soccer, of flag football.
Yeah.
There's going to be pickleball courts. The covering for church on the lawn. We're going to try to repurpose and put that over the pickleball courts. We'll have the only covered pickleball courts in the valley.
That's pretty awesome.
Bocce ball. There'll be dog parks. There's an exercise track that goes around, and there's going to be a splash pad for kids and moms and to have their kids play. And it's just going to be an amazing place. Our goal is that right now in this facility that we have, there's about 1,800 people on average from Monday to Saturday that enjoy the facilities here.
Yeah. Midweek ministries. Whatever.
Yeah. So the preschool, midweek ministries, you'll have women's, men's groups, all the small groups all over the place, right? Celebrate Recovery.
Yep.
There's about 1,800 people. We're going to be able to, with the new facilities, 10x that. 18,000 people will be able to use this property throughout the week.
Wow.
And then on the weekend, it'll more than triple the capacity that we have right now to do ministry. And we're super stoked that that's coming. So the Encounter Project is not building so that we can relieve a little pressure for a couple years.
Yeah.
The Encounter Project is something that we're going to leave a legacy for the next 2 generations. We'll be able to look back and go, those folks back in 2026.
Yeah.
Sacrificed and had the foresight to build this, and because of it, my family's serving Jesus today. My family has a place to go that's got sanctity to it, that's got safety with it, that people love Jesus there and are sharing it with us, and we get to share it with others. And so we're setting this up for the next 50 years, and it's not a small thing; it's a big thing, but it's a pretty important task. So we believe it's worth going after.
Man, what a gospel oriented value statement to the valley, creating an outpost for families and people for midweek ministries. It's It's a beautiful thing, and the value too, like even the concourse just in itself connected to the various aspects that you talked about, like our Spanish ministries and stuff like that speaks about that connectedness that we're trying
100%.
to develop and create so that people can come and experience and have an encounter with Jesus, right?
Absolutely. It's time. It's time. And
why would you say we're like, why now? Like, why are we ready now? Are we like, growth, right? But
yeah, I've been in ministry for 35 years and been a part of some incredible ministries, incredible churches. And over time, you see that there's certain leading indicators that you kind of look at behind the scenes to go, oh, there's something here.
Yeah.
And Craig Groeschel wrote, I think his first book was called It. And it was, some churches have it, some churches don't have it, right? Yeah. And it could be anointing, it could be blessing, it could be favor. Yeah. It's kind of that mixture of all those things. And this church has it. Mm-hmm. It's momentum. It's kingdom impact that's happening. Some numbers that I look at behind the scenes, we saw like 2,500 people, I think, or almost 3,000 people make commitments to follow Jesus in 2025. We've seen 30% plus growth in people, but here's a number that you probably don't know a lot about, but for me, it's a big deal as the advancement pastor. Over 1,100 people gave to the church for the very first time in 2025. Mm-hmm. And that's a big deal because usually that's the last thing that people tend to give over to God is like, that's a hard thing to give over to God, right? Yeah. It's time. Those small little leading indicators are, when you see several of them line up. Mm-hmm. Another one it's kind of unique, but and this is more of an art than a science to it, but people invite their friends. Mm. And so I can't go without a service without somebody going, hey, can I introduce you to my friend? Yeah. And I'm like, I know why they're doing it because they know that this is, proud, you've asked us to do this. To invite people, and they're inviting people like crazy. Yeah. And so that's contagious. All those things kind of line up. And then the financial part, like that we sit on 43 acres. Yeah. We're debt free. Yeah. In California. Not many churches can say that, that's right? Wild. Yeah. We're debt free. And it's a big number. Yeah. Like this number is a big number. It's going to cost $71 million to build out the buildings. It's going to cost $19 million to build out the fields and the solar infrastructure to power this baby. Mm-hmm. And then 3 years worth of our actual budget get put into that as well. So it's a big number. Yeah. But we've got the best people at this church. Yeah. We really do. And people have already been making commitments behind the scenes for this. Mm-hmm. And it's significant, especially ones that really understand building and projects. So many people have given on the front end and said, hey, I'm going to do a commitment yearly, or monthly for the next 3 years, but I want to give this portion up front. And what they're really saying is get busy building, right? Like get this thing done.
I want to see this in my lifetime.
Exactly. And so we've had people show up in some really unique ways, stuff like stock transfer. They bought Apple stock, when it was in the late 90s, and they're going, I don't want to pay the capital gains on it, but I want to bless the church. And so we can just simply have their broker work with our broker and it transfers all that over and they get the full write-off for it and don't have to pay the capital gains tax on it. I've had people walk up to me and give me gold coins. Really? In church. Yeah. And, looking around, where's security? I need some, take this to the safe like as quickly as possible. But silver and gold are actually at an all-time high right now. Yeah. Silver just went over $100 an ounce. For a long time, even 10 years ago, it was going for like $12 an ounce. Yeah. Gold hovered between $1,000 and $2,000 for the longest time. It's over $5,000 an ounce today. Wow. So there are people that have accumulated that just as a safety net. Yeah. And they're looking around going, well, no, I've got great investments here, but I've got this asset over here. It's what's in my hand. I'm going to let God use it. Yeah. And so we've got a broker that allows us to get the actual spot price of gold. Yeah. And doesn't charge us a fee. Oh, that's cool. And so we're very fortunate. Real estate, people have been, here, this property here, I don't need this. I'm going to give it to God. Yeah. And the Encounter Project.
Even crypto stuff. I mean, everything, right?
Crypto stuff. You got people that have bought crypto when it was, $100 for one coin, and now it sits on $60,000 a coin or whatever. That's wild. For a Bitcoin. And it's a big deal. Yeah, we can, completely receive, like any vendor can receive Bitcoin as well. And so we've tried to make multiple pathways, not just, hey, out of your checking account, you can, give this or whatever. IRAs, some retirement accounts that are out there are great because you can transfer that ownership to the church and not pay the penalty. If you would take it out early, you'd pay the penalty. There's some great ways we can do that. We've got a broker that helps us do that as well. So people have just been very creative in the way that they've shown up for this.
Yeah.
And we've got a good foothold. Like before we even do Commitment Sunday, we're going into that pretty strong. God's done some really good things with our people.
I really like how thoughtful you guys have been to how people can get involved in generosity, because it's like you said, it was a stewardship thing. People are saying, hey, we see this happening down there in the valley, and we want to be a part of it. I mean, even all the way up to, we even have international solutions for that, right, through Canada and stuff like.
Our Canadian our Canadian guests that are here for, I think they can. Is it 90 days? No, it's 120 days. Whatever it is.
There's
that they're here one day under the amount of time they can be here.
They always go home on that day right before.
But so in Canada, they, if they give it to a church in the United States while they're here, they don't get a tax write-off.
Yeah.
But we have an agent in Canada that we work through that they can give through that agency in Canada and get their full tax write-off in Canada.
Oh, that's so cool.
And so that's been really helpful to do that. And anybody that, wants to know more about that can email me. We'll give my contact information at the end of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, that's it's fun. I sat with a couple Canadians this week.
Yeah.
And they were asking, they had given to the residency program.
Yeah.
And they were asking about it and just thrilled with what God was doing and that they got a chance to contribute to it in a unique way because they wouldn't have been able to otherwise.
Yeah.
And so,
that's so cool.
So just good stuff all around. And we've got like a good, even with the tension between, Canada and America and all the political stuff, right? But people that love this church and love this valley and that are a part of us.
Yeah.
And they're showing up in a big way. And I'm really grateful for our Canadian guests, our Canadian brothers, sisters. They're awesome.
That's awesome. Well, so what about those people that are feeling like, I like all this, I love what you're saying, that sounds amazing, but it's a pretty big endeavor, obviously, big price tag. What would you say to someone who's just still kind of sitting on the sidelines thinking about that? Like, how would you encourage them? Or?
Yeah, I would say a couple things. One is, like, I'll give you this example. I was a freshman in college, and seminary was just a great time for me, but it was a hard time. I worked my way through. I never took a loan out.
Oh, wow.
I worked a full-time job. I went to full-time school. My parents helped me a little bit as well. But I remember, like, I was so budgeted out because I didn't have any money and I was paying for school. Didn't have any extra. My friends would go out for a pizza. I couldn't go out. They'd go for a burger. I couldn't go do it.
Sorry, guys.
Like, totally.
If you want to pay, maybe I'll go.
Yeah, like I'm sneaking extra cereal in the cafeteria, right? So I can have something to eat on a Sunday morning. And I remember the president speaking at a chapel, the president of the college speaking at a chapel, and he was talking about the money he had to believe God for so that the school would run. And he said, some of you are being challenged right now with your finances. Some of you are trusting God to come through for you so you could even be here. And I'm thinking, he's talking to me. And he just said, can I just tell you something? This is going to be something for you that you will learn and it'll benefit you for the rest of your life. Because the difference between you and me right now, it's just a couple zeros. It's the same faith. I'm believing God for millions and you're believing God for hundreds or 1,000 or 5,000 or whatever to pay your bills.
Yeah.
But I'm believing God for $50 million or whatever. So all those numbers, I thought, it is the same faith. Like, it's totally the same faith. So I would just simply say this, to start somewhere. If you're like, I wonder how this is going to go, there's thousands of people that go to this church. And if everybody does something, this thing gets done.
Yeah.
When someone says, I don't want to participate because I think it might fail, I look at it and say, well, that's a little pessimistic view because we serve one that can do anything but fail.
Yeah.
I always kid around with Ricky. He's like, how did that happen? I'm like, we know a guy. He walks on water, right? He's the miracle worker. And he loves, this is the key. Like, all throughout Scripture, God loves to take nothing and make something out of it.
Yeah.
Right? In the beginning.
Yeah.
there was nothing. The earth, it was void.
Yeah.
And God spoke, and it came into existence, right? So he took nothing and made something out of it.
Yeah.
Look at our lives.
Yeah.
Our lives were a broken wreck and a mess. And God goes, oh, I love that.
Yeah,
I'm going
I
to
could
take
work
and
with
make
that.
something out of that. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Stories throughout the Bible.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not one person that was used by God that didn't go through a rough time and didn't have challenges and didn't have, they needed their faith built into them again. And I just look at it and go, I think it's the same thing. Trust God with what he's put in your hands.
Wow.
And then watch what he can do with it.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't add, he multiplies.
Yeah.
And I just, you put something in God's hands and watch what he does with it.
Yeah. And I love like that you guys constantly keep putting back in front of people. This isn't like a building. This isn't just a building project. Like this is creating space for people to have an encounter with Jesus. Like,
totally.
It's a future forward thinking about creating like all those spaces. Everything you talked about was building relationships, creating beautiful conversations and community. And like, I mean, just, valuing the local community. Like it's just such a wonderful gospel expression.
Yeah. Yeah. This, like I said, it's not going to be opulent. It's not going to be the Crystal Cathedral, but people will walk in and go, they did it with excellence.
Yeah.
And I think excellence honors God and it inspires people. And so we're going to be good stewards with what God's given.
Yeah.
And we're going to make sure that it goes a long way. And there's been a lot of great conversations along the way and helps for people that are, professionals in building and real estate and design and that are coming alongside that go to church here. That this is their church. You cut them and they bleed Wellspring.
Yeah.
That are, hey man, how can I volunteer my time? How can I be a part of, helping oversee so we can maximize everything God's doing here?
So good.
So, I'm hoping we come in under budget, and I think we will.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Well, as always, we hope our conversations are engaging, but we also want to help resource people to live this out. What are some things that you'd like to point people to continue this conversation?
Yeah, well, the Encounter Project, if you have questions about the Encounter Project, you're a Wellspring person, if maybe you don't even go to Wellspring, but you catch Ricky all the time and you want to do something for this project, there's ways to give to that specifically. We'll put some links to this that you can give to the Encounter Project. And actually, there's a whole web page built all around the Encounter Project that will keep you up to date on everything that's happening and will allow you to participate in giving, in praying, supporting the Encounter Project. So that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
And then there's guys that are looking at this podcast, listening to this podcast right now that actually or maybe they're pastors themselves. And so you can contact me. I've got that whole talk I did with the 4 things that it takes to help business guys unleash their generosity.
Yeah.
I put that into an e-booklet with a worksheet with it that allows you to go through it, and it's something everyone can learn to do. Most pastors don't like to talk about money.
Yeah.
And I really don't like to talk about just money. I like to talk about resource and what you can do for the kingdom. But it'll allow you to have conversations in a way that are vision casting and are forward looking, as opposed to people feeling like you're interested in them because they have $1 that they can give you.
Yeah.
It has zero to do with that.
Yeah.
It has everything to do with the relationships and what God wants to do through somebody.
That's great. Well, yeah, like Andrew said, you can visit the Encounter Project website at thewellspring.church/encounter. You'll see there's all kinds of cool videos, information, FAQs, tons of stuff, and ways to get involved. Also, if you want to hear about that resource that Andrew talked about, you can email him directly at andrews@thewellspring.church. He'd love to just chat with you, even have a conversation if you had any questions.
Sure. Yeah, I do every week.
Yep. Awesome. Well, if you were to leave our listeners with one last encouragement or challenge, what would it be today?
Say it with a check.
Yeah.
No.
I didn't think you were going to say that. That's awesome. I love that.
Honestly, it's a big deal. I've had a lot of people that they're going to give regularly, but they realize if I give something up front, this thing's going to start and get moving. And so I want to thank every person that's participating in this, no matter how small the amount, no matter how great the amount. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
It's a big deal. Again, when we align our hearts with God's heart, and God's heart's full of generosity, He'll unleash it and He'll get it done.
Oh man, what have you guys been saying? Maybe not necessarily equal gift, but equal sacrifice.
Yeah. Everybody gives something.
That's so cool.
Everybody can do something.
Yeah.
Everybody can do something, and I just would encourage you to. And just give you an anecdote.
Yeah.
Amy and I added our numbers together and came up with a number we wanted to give.
Yeah.
And I do, obviously God's taken care of us.
Yeah, he's blessed you.
He's blessed us. And the next day after I take the number and I go in and talk to my administrative assistant, Melanie, and I'm like, put this number down for Amy and I, this is what we're doing. The next day I get a call and someone goes, hey, I need you to help me with this, and I'm willing to pay you this. And it was the entire amount. So now I'm like, okay, God.
Well, back to the
drawing board. We got to do something.
Amy.
We got to do something a little bit different because this isn't going to hurt anymore. And so we just wanted it to hurt a little bit. We wanted it to stretch us and say, God, use us. And I can't sit across from somebody and ask them to participate in this project if Amy and I aren't in on it.
Yeah.
And same thing with Ricky and April. I'm so glad they're leading the way.
Yeah.
With their own generosity and the choices they make. It's a big deal. So thank you guys for participating.
Thank you guys. Yeah, what a great example. Well, Andrew, thank you for your leadership, your heart, your friendship, and your commitment to steward influence so well. And to everyone listening, as we love your participation, our prayers that every encounter is an opportunity to have a conversation that leads to an invitation for gospel transformation. So there you have it, folks. Thanks again for joining us on another episode of the Other 6 Days podcast. Be sure to hit that subscribe, follow, share, and like. And as always, spread the word and take what you've heard and turn it into something you can do to further the gospel in the world around you. Until next time, peace.